Good morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. You are welcome here. You are in the right place at the right time, and we're going to sing about that, right, Ann?
Just where you're meant to be, whether you're live streaming or here in person. We've got a great service. Dr. Garland, Landrith is in the house. Let's sing about how we're all welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh my soul is welcome here. Oh my soul is welcome here. I am getting a message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. Your soul is welcome. All souls are welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh my soul is welcome here. Oh my soul is welcome here. I am getting a message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh my soul, your soul, his soul, her soul, we're all welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. I'm getting the message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Come on. My soul is welcome. Let me hear you sing it. My soul is welcome. You know that you're welcome. My soul is welcome. No matter what color, what culture, sexual orientation, political or religious affiliation. One God, many paths. Everybody's welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Good morning. Our souls are indeed welcome here. And good morning, Patty Peters. Thank you for joining me on the platform this morning as James takes a well-deserved birthday Sunday off. Now, his birthday was Wednesday, but we decided that, hey, take the day off.
Thank you. Let's settle in. We greet you in the name of all that is good, all that is sacred, and all that is holy, and in the warm and loving energy of our spiritual community, Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center honors all people, worshiping in temples, mosques, churches, stone circles, and the beautiful temples of nature, because we know there is no space that God does not grace. If it is your first time joining us, online or in person, we especially welcome you because we know you are not here by accident. We are all here by divine appointment. And we really appreciate it if you silence your electronic devices and no flash photography during the service, please.
And let's take a moment to go within and allow the outside world to drop away for this time together. And we come together to connect with the divine presence through whom we live, move, and have our being. Our connection is eternal, never wavering. As we turn our thoughts toward the presence, we can live in joy and love and wisdom and peace, because that is who we have come here to be, individual expressions of God, the one true source of all there is. As we set our intention to grow in consciousness, to join in divine consciousness with others, we expand our own good and the good of all those around us. This energy, this boundless love, increases and flows out into our community and the world. We know that each word, each thought, each action said or done with love and compassion brings each one of us closer to a world blessed with peace. And we are grateful for this opportunity to come together with intention and to move into this service in gratitude and joy. And we say, all is well, and all matter of things shall be well. And so it is. Spiritual Life Center has a mission, and we say this together each week, to transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And we live out that mission through the 5 unity principles that we say each week as well. And we do this to say it out loud, to imbue it in our own hearts, and also it gives us something to talk about when somebody asks, what do we do here? Let's say these together. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God, and we must take action. And one of the actions we take this time of year between January 30th and April 4th is the Season for Nonviolence readings. This is an international educational, media, and grassroots campaign dedicated to demonstrating that nonviolence is a powerful way to heal, transform, and empower our lives and our communities. This is inspired by the memorial anniversaries of Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. Martin Luther King. And this international event honors their vision for an empowered and nonviolent world. And the reading for this service is going to be from Dominic Salazar, our esteemed bassist.
Good morning, Spiritual Life Center.
Good morning.
When I was given this a few weeks ago, I was asked to, do this reading, and there were a few different topics, and I looked at the list, and I was like, I don't know, just give me one. And it turns out the one I was given is the most perfect one for me. I related to it so much, and so here it is. Today, I take time to breathe deeply. I agree. All of that breath out there, I agree. Okay, here we go. Spirit means breath. Our breath is the link between heaven and earth. Today, as I breathe in, I love that. I love that you guys are breathing along with me. I feel the peace of God within my heart. As I breathe out, I let it expand and radiate until my entire being is filled with divine peace. The peace that passeth all understanding. In that space between the breaths is all the love I will ever need, all the peace that I desire, all the wisdom I could ever use. As I focus on my breath, I become aware of the divine presence that is ever within me, the presence that is ever closer, or that is even closer than my breath. I breathe in peace, I breathe out peace. I breathe in love. I love it. I breathe out love. I breathe in wisdom. I breathe out wisdom. With each breath, the world is richly blessed. Thank you, God, for the gift of spirit and the breath of life. So the reason that this is so perfect for me is that breathing is, breathing is important to all of us, right? But some of you, like me, might be, maybe like me, have asthma. I have asthma. When I was, I think 9 years old or something, I was in like 4th grade. One morning I was getting ready for school and I just couldn't breathe. And so I ran into my mom's room and she was horrified. I was like, Mom, I can't breathe. And she was just like, I don't know what to do. And so she put me in the bathroom and turned on the shower and had me breathe in the steam, and it helped, And to this day, if I need to, relax and mellow out, I will still use steam for that purpose. She took me to the hospital and they told me, oh yeah, he's got asthma, and and since then I've had to use inhalers and whatnot to manage all of that. But like I said, that's when I was in 4th grade. A couple years later, I went into middle school, and had to take PE class and do running and other sorts of things. And you may not be able to tell by looking at me, but I wasn't in great shape back then. I actually could never make a run in time. As you're supposed to be able to run a mile in 12 minutes, I could never do it. Sixth grade, could never do it. I had to stop and catch my breath and walk, and in seventh grade, did the same thing. And then eighth grade, I had started to learn how to manage my breathing with my running, and by the time when I was in eighth grade, I was able to start making runs in time. And by the time I was in high school, freshman, sophomore year, I actually ended up being one of the best runners in the PE classes. So I remember my sophomore year, there were some cross-country runners in the class, and they were always the first three to finish. They would just be like running, like having a conversation, like, oh, haha, just like, and they'd be so far ahead of the rest of the class. And then in fourth place was always me. And the way that I did it is I learned to, well, as you guys know, I'm a musician, right? And so I learned to sync my breathing with my stepping. Exactly, that's right. And it worked. And I became a very good runner. And now in my adult life, a few years ago, I discovered yoga. And yes, and yoga is also a very breathing heavy, activity. In fact, in order to effectively achieve, doing yoga stretches and poses, you have to be able to feel the tension in your body, and you have to be able to relieve that tension. And this is something that we deal with as musicians all the time, tension and resolution. And, all the time. It's what all artists have to deal with, and it's what all of us in life have to deal with. And when it comes to breathing, when you breathe in, you can feel the tension actually building in your lungs, and then you let it out. And any stress that you have, because when you breathe in, you're adding tension, you're adding stress, and then you let it go. And that's what I learned yoga is kind of all about. I was speaking with Ann earlier, and we had talked about it kind of being you versus yourself. But a potentially better way of thinking about it is it's you working with yourself. You don't want to be your own enemy. You want to work with yourself, right? And so yoga has helped me to, sort of achieve that, where the only way I'm able to actually, achieve any sort of success and stretch a little bit further is to relieve that tension by breathing. And you want to work with yourself, and you want to be able to control yourself. And one thing that I learned in regard to controlling yourself, one very important thing that I learned in college in regard to controlling yourself, I was in the jazz band, and the band director said this thing to the saxophone section that had nothing to do with anyone else but the saxophones, but it was something that I thought was very wise and to be taken to other parts of my life. And it was about the saxophones being in tune, which, the saxophones are another wind instrument, requires breath control. But he said to the saxophones, hey, saxophones, you guys sound like you're out of tune. But before you blame the person next to you, you can't control them, you can only control yourself. That's right. And so I heard that, and I'm sitting there, playing the bass, and I was just like, "Wow, that's really wise, actually. You can only really control yourself." And so I want to leave you with this: that if in order to help yourself control yourself, I remind you all to take time to breathe deeply. Thank you.
Oh, there is that part too. So we have a guest speaker today, and Claudia Norton Tolbert is here to introduce him.
Hi. So I wanted to introduce Garland because he has helped me out in so many, for over the several years with blockages and so many of my friends. And he uses so many modalities to be able to achieve his goals. He uses quantum flow, heart math, deep breathing, tapping. He's a psychologist, and he's also psychic. And so what's the gem of his utilizing all of these modalities is that he gets down to the subconscious, and that is the key. And so I want you to give a warm welcome to my friend, Garland Landrith. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thanks so much. So much. I'm excited to be here.
And we are having a Board of Trustees recruitment. At our annual meeting in May, we will elect some new board of trustee members to fill vacancies left by members who have termed out. The board is very important in funding and setting the vision for SLC. If you feel called to explore becoming a board member, please go to the table in the courtyard or go to our website. And remember, there are many activities that foster transformation in our lives. Check out our weekly small groups and other offerings. To discover all the happenings at SLC, go to our website. You can also peruse the bulletin board in our courtyard and then go to the hub to sign up for an event.
Will our Board of Trustees and chaplains please stand? Our Board of Trustees wear the purple ribbons on their name badges, and they're here to guide, shape, provide, and provide oversight for our community operations. And if you're interested in learning more about SLC, or if you have some questions about what's going on here, find one of these lovely people, and they will be happy to talk to you. Thank you. And our chaplains are here to pray with us in times of joy and in times of challenge. And they wear the white stoles. They will be in the courtyard after the service to pray with you if you wish.
And we love to welcome our newcomers, so in a moment we will ask those of you here with us to raise. There are many ways to connect at SLC, and you can get more information about small groups, events, and classes by filling out our online welcome card. If you are here in person and you raise your hand, you can fill out the card and take it to the welcome table, where you will receive a small gift and a very warm welcome.
So if you're here with us for the very first time today, please raise your hand. And keep it up until they find you. We're offering you a purple ribbon that we ask you to wear it on the left side near your heart so that we can greet you and offer you a heartfelt and warm SLC welcome. Thank you for joining us today on your unique path. And now let us all stand and greet each other in the way that we are most comfortable.
We invite you to stay standing and join us in singing our group song, I Remember, written by our very own Paula Mandela. At the end, there is a call and response, so be ready. Ooh. Together, every day is an opportunity to walk the path through the heart, awake my soul, expand the light. The stillness of the moment. the chaos of the day, in my resting place reflecting, spirit at work, spirit at play. I remember every day is an opportunity to walk the path through the heart, awake my soul, expand the light, and love, love, love it all. I remember every day is an opportunity to walk the path through the heart, awake my soul, expand the light, and love, love, love it all. I remember every day, all day there's opportunity. Your turn.
Every day, all day, there's opportunity.
Every day, all day I look beyond what I see.
Every day, all day, I look beyond what I see.
Every day, all day I can make a choice.
Every day, all day, I can make a choice.
Every day, all day, search and find my voice.
Every day, all day, search and find my voice.
Every day, all day, I listen to my heart.
Every day, all day, I listen to my heart.
Every day, all day, step out and do my part.
Every day, all day, step out and do my part.
Every day, all day, I make a stand for peace.
Every day, all day, I make a stand for peace.
Every day, all day, I feel my joy increase.
Every day, all day, I feel my joy.
Every day, all day, I check my attitude.
Every day, all day, I check my attitude.
Thank you. Every day, all day, expressing gratitude.
Every day, all day, expressing gratitude.
Every day, all day, I give up the fight.
Every day, all day, I give up the fight.
Every day, all day, I am shaping the light.
Every day, all day, I am shaping my life.
Every day, all day, reach for the highest heights.
Every day, all day, reach for the highest.
Every day, all day, there's opportunity.
Every day, all day, there's opportunity.
Every day, all day, I remember.
Every day, all day, I
Every day, all day, I remember.
every day, all day, I remember.
Give yourselves a hand and please be seated.
All right, well, let's take that cue from Dominic and take a nice, nice deep breath together. I invite us all now to speak together out loud and ensoul these words, which is our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. Now we're going to do a new chant today, take a deep dive. You can sing along or maybe just close your eyes and listen to Anne's beautiful voice.
I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I am stronger every moment, every day. My mind is willing and my trust my instincts and let spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's real and pure and free as I continue walking in this mystery. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I am kinder every moment, every day. And I'm more loving every moment, every day. I will surrender every moment, every day.
Now we'll start off by putting our hands over our heart. And we'll take a deep breath. And releasing. Another deep breath into our heart. And releasing. Now I want you to think of someone that you love. Could be your partner, could be your doggy, your kitty. Feel that love. Releasing it into a flow by letting thoughts come and go. I feel my consciousness expand. I am flowing. I am flowing. I am flowing throughout the whole universe. I feel connected with the stars, the galaxies, and with heaven. I feel God's presence flowing within us. I've got stardust in my soul. The same divine love that created this whole universe is flowing within me. I'm being held in God's arms. I am safe. I've been truly, truly blessed. And I'm truly blessed by all the gifts that are already on their way. Thank you, God. I love you. Amen.
Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. You have all you need, it's all inside of you. Just close your eyes and breathe and know that you are safe. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. No need to make a plan. Your heart will be your compass. Just lift your sails in faith and trust that you will arrive. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Float into the mystery. Float into the mystery. Float into the mystery. Let go. Float. Let go. Let go. Let go. Let go.
What an amazing, amazing group of individuals with this music. I'm telling you, Reverend Paula has done a great job. I mean, don't you feel like you're...
just made me an honorary reverend.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Somebody's got to do it. Don't you feel like a higher state of consciousness? I mean, seriously, that was just like, we could do that all day, all night. We should do that. They're doing the revivals, we might as well have one here. The music is really where it, it kind of adds a whole new dimension to everything. And I was so glad, after COVID, I was thinking, I'll come back here. What happened to the music team? And they're all here. So this is exciting. Yeah. Now, we all felt COVID. And one thing is very clear about COVID. We're all connected. Every one of our brothers and sisters that are suffering, we felt it. And it's so refreshing to come into this church and to feel like an oasis of that burden. And that's kind of like what we had over the last 3 years. And it's still continuing. They just did some studies on adolescent women, and teenagers. And I think it's 35% were having suicide thoughts, and 50% feel totally lost. So we've lost a whole generation. See, we have some serious things we need to make up. It's a good time to be a healer. And so today and I wanted to come back and give Reverend James a break. And so he well deserves it. I know a lot of people in the community, and I have some clients in the community, regular ones. So it's great to be back. I wanted to kind of add the opposite of what COVID did. We're going to talk about our divinity and how we are part of the divine expression of the whole universe. So we're going to talk about miracles, bottom line. And scientists hate the idea of miracles. Because when a miracle happens, it violates a law of nature. But the truth of the matter is that miracles, whoops, what happened there? I'm flowing in the miracle. So is this thing. Let's see if we can get started back where we're supposed to. I think. Oh. All right, okay. We got a miracle man over here. Okay. So let's see if we can. So now here's the situation. Miracles happen all the time in the quantum. So what is the quantum? The quantum is the forces and the particles inside of the atom. And they have no space and time limitations because basically they're energy and matter at the same time, which is kind of crazy, but that's what happens. We'll see that in a minute. Now, physics studies waves on the subatomic level. And it's a whole different reality than regular physics. Now, some of the greatest physicists have concluded that the universe has a conscious design and force to it. But even more than that, the ancient physicists studied a book called the Upanishads. We're talking about Einstein, Schrödinger, Heidelberg, Tesla, you name them. And what does the Upanishads say? First of all, they're from India. And the main theme of it is all this is that. Meaning that we are the same force that created this whole universe. We're part of it. So our consciousness is connected with that. It's huge. And that's what they were that's why they came up with the idea of one force, because it's really one consciousness. It's really interesting. So, now, but meanwhile, we got to go back to regular physics. What are some of the rules that have been violated by quantum physics? So first of all, an object cannot be in two different places at the same time, right? No. Wrong. There we go. They can be, well, let me give you an example. An electron circling an atom. When we're watching it, it turns into particles. When nobody's watching it, it turns into waves. The only difference is we're watching it. Consciousness is involved. It collapses the energy into particles. So when nobody's watching it, it's everywhere at the same time, not just one place. Well, that gone is that law of nature. Here's another one. This is a big one. Nothing can go faster than the speed of light. This is the main theory of relativity, the big one. Schrödinger and Heidelberg, two very famous physicists, predicted that if you had a couple of electrons circling an atom, if they would become quantumly entangled, which means forever connected. Even if you were to separate them by trillions of miles, if you pushed on one of them, the other one would instantaneously go in the exact same direction. In fact, so instantaneously, if you were to measure the speed of it, it's faster than the speed of light, the communication meaning. So Einstein hated this theory because it violated his principles. And God doesn't play dice with the universe, famous quote. But the truth of the matter is, they proved it wrong in 1981, and then they just redid the same experiment in the new cyclotron, getting much better power. And they found that not only did the two electrons communicate faster than the speed of light, it was 10,000 times faster than the speed of light. If you're going to break a law of nature, you might as well go all the way. But the spookiest thing in physics is that consciousness is the quantum field. Consciousness. Now, this is the famous double slit experiment. It was on the movie What the Bleep. A lot of people know about it. I want to kind of explain it try to make it simple, if I can. But basically, it's in the movie What the Bleep, there was an eye there. The eye represents consciousness. And they were shooting little balls of photons through those double slits, except they would be one line on the back wall. And the measuring device was on the first barrier, not on the back wall. So what happened was they shifted the measuring device to the back wall so that there was no measurements on the front barrier. So the photon that was shot out could do whatever it wants to do. And what it decided it wanted to do was become an energy wave. And so basically the photon was going everywhere at once until it met the back wall when it was measured, when consciousness hit it. And so what happens is these energy waves would interfere with each other. It's kind of like dropping a couple pebbles in a pond. It produces waves. The waves hit each other, and they interfere with each other, and they create more waves, and pretty soon you got a bunch of waves in the pond. Very similar to that. In other words, what it proves is that consciousness collapses energy waves into particles. If there's no consciousness on the front barrier, it was a bunch of waves going through the two slits, even though they're in separate places, it's going to them at the same time. So this is a huge dilemma. Matter and energy are basically the same thing. It all depends on consciousness. Okay? So what does this mean? Who is the consciousness that's creating particles from energy waves? Because without consciousness, you can't have particles. Without particles, you can't have people. You can't have galaxies, you can't have stars, can't have doggies. So, did physics discover this universal consciousness called God? I think so. Now, here's the big question. Is our consciousness the same as the universal force that created this universe? Now, I like to look at this from 4 different possible research studies. And they've done, between all of them, there's over 1,000 studies. And the research says resoundingly, yes, we are connected with it. We're part of it. And I like to separate them out into 4 different sections. The first one is the prayer research, which, by the way, Unity Church has been an active participant in. And, in fact, participated in some of the most amazing prayer studies, which we'll talk about in just a minute, that you can ever imagine. The second one was the research on how consciousness can influence our outer world by reducing crimes, auto accidents, and suicide. That was the research that I was involved with. And then the third one is we can know things before they happen. At least our body can know things before they happen. And the fourth one is that together we can make a bigger difference than we can alone. And what they did is they had consciousness influencing random number generated machines that are functioning from outer space radiation. In other words, quantum kind of radiation. So our consciousness can actually change the outer space radiation. Amazing stuff. So let's start with the prayer research. Now, the prayer research, we all remember the first studies. They would take a ward of the hospital. They'd pray for that ward. They didn't pray for the surrounding wards. And what they found was the people they prayed for had less need for antibiotics, better quality of life. They were, in some cases, less deaths than the surrounding ward, and usually spent less time in the hospital. And these were very reliable studies. They had a bunch of them done. And scientists at first said, no. Then they said, okay, there is something to prayer. And what they said was really going on was positive thinking. Now, you can't be coming to this amazing church with Reverend James and not be aware of the fact that positive thinking makes a huge difference. It's kind of like this place is an oasis compared to what we've been living in the last 3 years. But is prayer just positive thinking, or is it something else? All right, so they did another study. They did a triple-blind study. And this was done at a hospital in Kansas City, which is the home of Unity. And it was done with over 1,000 people that entered the hospital. The only difference is they didn't tell the people they were praying from. Now think about it. If I'm sick and Reverend James is praying for me. I get well faster because he's praying, but he doesn't tell me. I can't be getting well faster because it's positive thinking, because I didn't know he was praying for me. Make sense? Then we did a triple blind study. Nobody knew what they were being prayed for. Nobody even knew they were in a study. They prayed for half, didn't pray for the other half. And of course, the people they prayed for had the same results as the other studies. Even the doctors and nurses didn't even know. Now, this blew a lot of people's minds. So they did another prayer research study. And they did a bunch of them, but this is one of the ones more interesting, I think. They were praying for people in Korea. So somehow the prayers had to go through molten rock and whatever else is in the middle of the world and arrive at the right person in Korea. And it was a women's in vitro fertilization clinic, women trying to get pregnant. And again, they didn't know they were being prayed for. And what they found is the women who were being prayed for had a 50% greater chance of getting pregnant than women who weren't being prayed for. Brings a whole new dimension to the idea of immaculate conception, but we won't touch that one here. So this is intriguing. So this is huge, because it means that what we do inside can make a difference on the outside world. Now, here's the interesting thing about it, though. The energy emanating from our brain is insignificant. It basically doesn't get past the skull. Can you hear it? Okay, there I am. It doesn't even get past the skull bones. So there is no energy emanating from our brain that can do it. As a matter of fact, the energy emanating from our heart is many thousand times greater, at least magnetically, than the brain. So we can't think our way into this situation, all right? So it's called, maybe we can call it spooky action at a distance. Quantum kind of thing. All right, so our consciousness then is not located in our brain. That's a huge discovery, because there's nothing there that can do this. Maybe it's one of those quantum things. Now, so this means that our inner world is connected to the outer world, because we couldn't be able to connect with that and change it if we didn't have something else going on inside of us. All right? Now, What the Bleep Do We Know talked about a lot of this kind of interesting research. If you haven't had a chance to see the movie, it's really incredible. They talked about some of my research in the movie, where we showed that people meditating using TM, transcendental meditation, could actually reduce the crimes, auto accidents, and suicides. Far out stuff. And it worked. We did 40 studies. Nobody even knows there's 40 studies, but there are 40 studies done. Many of them published in mainstream journals, by the way. And so what we do inside can influence the outside world. That's the huge promise that these techniques give us. Now, here's the big question. Everybody wants to know how we did it. How did you reduce the crimes? You must have had some intentions, right? Right, in order to reduce crimes, you got to have intentions, right? How about this? How about we never once thought about crimes? That's an interesting one. How can you reduce crimes without having any intentions? Maybe that's it. Yeah, that's a good one. She said maybe I got love. What we did is we surrendered the results. We got out of the way. We let the divine flow through us. Remember, if the divine's already there and part of us, all we got to do is get out of the way, which is the hardest thing to do sometimes. We're our own worst enemies. How many people notice that after a while? And that's it. So basically, let the divine flow through us. Now, Charles Fillmore, one of the co-founders of Unity Church, has that as a way to manifest. Surrender the results. Surrender the results. Okay? Now, if you want something, what are you attracting? Lack, right? You don't have it. So you have to circumvent this whole problem. People ask me, how do you know what you want? Well, how about this? If you get out of the way, the divine already knows what you want. Why do you need to tell God what you want? All it does is activate the left hemisphere, which we'll talk about later on, which interferes with your ability to manifest. So you want to get out of the way, which means getting out of the way of the left hemisphere. Okay, so is our consciousness then beyond time-space limitations? This is about the body. What we're going to find out now is that this is the third group of research studies that prove that we're beyond time and space. And this is the ones that were done in our body to measure our body anxiety. It was actually an experiment done by accident. And they had two groups. One group was, and they split, I should say this, they split people into two different groups. One group would see the pictures that are very negative, those of in a morgue, and the other group would have pictures in a nature scene. And they were trying to measure anxiety in the body. And they figured that every time there would be a picture coming up within morgue, then that would increase anxiety with the GSR. They're using a GSR machine. And they found that there was indeed a spike of anxiety, but it didn't happen after the negative photo happened. It happened before. First of all, they thought there was a big mistake, so they repeated the experiment in a different laboratory, stayed away. And then it had the same results. Then they said, well, let's look inside the MRI in the brain. And what they found was inside the brain, the whole brain would light up with anxiety about 4 seconds, 2 to 4 seconds before the negative photo was presented, and not before the positive one. This is mind-boggling. We know what's going to happen in our body. It doesn't mean you're consciously aware of it. Our body kind of knows what's going on. Remember this old adage, I knew it in my gut? There's a lot of truth to that. Okay, so knowing in advance, prove it. Okay, now the fourth group is the group that was done by Princeton. And what they did is they took cosmic radiation from outer space, and they formulated a machine with that. And basically the output for the machine was like 1010. And then they took college freshmen and had them concentrate on this machine to see if they could change the output from 1010 to 111 or 000. I know when I was a college freshman, I couldn't do that. I was too much recovering from all this, getting out of house and having some free time. So, but anyway, they'd get these college kids to do it. And they found that there was a small increase in results, but very little. So they had a brilliant idea. Let's get more people doing it at the same time. So instead of just one, they had groups of people, 5, 6, 7. And all of a sudden the results started becoming much clearer. So what they decided to do is put these machines all over the world. And these machines then measured the output from the collective consciousness. So every time there was a group thing going on, like the opening ceremonies for the Olympics, there was millions of people watching those opening ceremonies. And the machines would go crazy. Instead of 1010, they'd do 111 or 000. And they did 250 of these studies. The tsunami, the hurricane, all kinds of stuff like that. It was pretty fascinating. And they did this, and they finally stopped the project, but they had proven their point, that what we do is, when we do it together, is far more powerful than we do it alone. Huge. Okay, so as a result of all this, we can come up with 4 or 5 major conclusions. First of all, we're all connected. And what that means is we're all connected. What we do inside makes a huge difference in the outside world. And we all knew it from COVID. We could feel our brothers and sisters' pain. It felt like our pain. And that's why, we're still having the ramifications of all that. But more importantly, we can also do something about it. We're not helpless. And in that regard, one of my favorite books, My Stroke of Insight, was by a neuroscientist from Harvard. And she had a stroke that shut down her left hemisphere, that pesky little left hemisphere we talked about. And what happened was, instead of being in agony, she was in ecstasy. She had the traditional mystical experience. And she had 6 strokes, and she couldn't even call the 911 or anything. She was totally helpless. And she decided to come back and tell us that you got to get out of your left hemisphere. And it's real easy to get out of your left hemisphere. Not. What does the left hemisphere do? It's the pesky, always monkey brain thing, going on thoughts, the scripts in your head that are saying you're not good enough, this is too much, you can't handle it. It's the doubts and all that stuff that's going on. And that's what she said. We got to get out of that state. And then you can, live that life that we all want to achieve. But more importantly, we can do miracles in our own life and help out other people. So she gave us clues. Now, this second major conclusion is we can change the outside world simply by changing ourselves. This is huge. I've probably done close to 15,000 clients in the last 20, 25 years. And invariably, I do a lot of women who are interested in self-development, and they're trying to drag their husbands in. And that he doesn't want to do it or whatever. And I say, well, let's get you changed first. You have a lot of negative ideas about your husband. Why don't we change your thoughts first? Of course, I do it much less directly. And so then interesting things happen. All of a sudden, he's doing the dishes. All of a sudden, he's holding her hand, becoming romantic. All of a sudden, everything she was complaining about has started to go away. I'm serious. And it works. So we don't all have to change the outside world. All we got to do is change our quantum world. This is what we have to do. And then our outside world will change. Okay? Now, but this is easier said than done because some of this stuff is in our subconscious. In fact, Deepak Chopra and Bruce Lipton have both said unless we can change the inside subconscious, this is the new frontier for energy work. We have to do that. Because that's what's holding us back. And then another one. Together we can make a bigger difference than we can alone. When we come into this amazing church, how many people feel it's almost like coming into an oasis of goodness and light and love? You feel the love. It's palpable. I mean, when I come in here, it's like, oh my God, this is so incredible. And then, and the more we have coming to this church, the more the effects. It's huge. And we are making a difference. We are making a difference. It's hard to see sometimes, but with like the way we do warfare, we're not bombing indiscriminately anymore. We're worried about civilians. I got it right. I'm thinking civilization. We're worried about things. We're doing everything differently to honor life than we did before, at least as far as war goes. But a lot of things. We're wanting to make sure everyone's taken care of. And those are signs that our consciousness is expanding. We're realizing other people's pain is our pain. So, and the last one is life after death. Now, life after death, that's a huge one. But the truth of the matter is, and I've worked with a lot of people, everybody has doubts at one time or another. We all do. It is so refreshing to be living in a time when science is disproving these doubts. And actually, we can create something new. It's proving that we can do it, which helps convince us, which in turn helps the things come true better. So what we're doing is we're also trying to convince ourselves and our subconscious at the same time to help to have these amazing results. Part of it is you have to have confidence that it's going to work. It's not the most important thing, but it adds confidence every time you make one of these things work. So it's huge. So science washes away our doubts because it proves spirituality. It's one of the most exciting times to be alive. And this is the key. By surrendering to divine love, our consciousness is beyond time and space limitations. The trick is to get out of the way and let the divine flow through you. Great. Well, I'm excited. Thank you very much for giving me a chance to help inspire you, hopefully. And I wanted to briefly say something about we're having a seminar today and tomorrow. It's a 2-day seminar. If you can't make both days, you can make one. But if you miss today, you can come at 5:30 tomorrow, and I'll catch you up in an hour. I think it starts at 6:30. So we'll do that hour to catch up. We're also going to do a bunch of new stuff compared to what we did last time, new points. I'm also going to give you my best reframes. A lot of people are healers here, and a lot of people want to be healed. And one of the things that really helps people heal is how to turn a negative into a positive. And I've been working with so many people that I've come up with some really incredible reframes. Reframes is tough to do sometimes. It's hard to see the good in something bad when you're on top of it. So I'm going to give you those reframes that'll help you with your own healing and other people's healings. And we'll be doing some other things as well. And basically, we'll be using tapping, an EFT. We'll also be putting into love flow meditation, which is based a little bit on heart math. I love heart math. But it's also quantum-based. We're going to be doing a quantum-based meditation. And then we'll be doing some healing of the subconscious, which is the critical thing. I'm going to teach you how to go after that subconscious stuff, including inner child healing, which is huge because that's where a lot of that stuff comes from. So, and also I'm doing individual appointments for the next 3 days, so you can have a chance to do this in person rather than on the phone or on Skype or Zoom. And I'll be here doing it here at the church. So it'll have that amazing vibrations in the church as well as being able to do it in person. So it's a double whammy. So, all right, well, thank you so much, and I'm excited about it. And one more thing. If, in case you can't make it, there's some CDs and DVDs, except now they're all done in flash drives. So you can use them on your computers, and you can get the same effect of having, not quite the same effect, but you can tap along with, I have a whole groups of people doing it at the same time, so you can tap along with other people at least. But hopefully I get a chance to see you during the next couple of days. Thanks again.
Wow. Lots of information and lots more to come. So be sure you can sign up for the seminar out at the Hub. And next week, Reverend James will be back. He's going to be talking about God Lines for Transformation. And I'm really fascinated to see what he does with that title. So. And now we have the opportunity to support Spiritual Life Center. Excuse me. If you want to, especially if you're online, if you want to continue to spread this consciousness and keep it out there and send it out into the world, you can support us by texting SLC Love at 44321. You can go to our website to donate as well, and of course you can always mail in a donation if you wish. And also, another way to spread this consciousness is to click on like, comment, share, subscribe, or whatever option your app allows you to do. So support SLC and keep the love streaming. And now, as we go into our offertory, we know that the circulation of giving and receiving is what keeps it all going. And let us say our blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
So this song that we're going to do, I discovered in a very mystical way. I was looking at the Grammys, and I was very pleased to see that Bonnie Raitt won for Song of the Year for a very beautiful song. And I went online to listen to it, and right next to it in the playlist was this song called Fearless Love, which when I had spoken with Dr. Landrith, that was one of the key phrases when I asked him, give me some stuff to, look for songs. And he said, I'm going to be talking about fearless love. So here is this beautiful song by Bonnie Raitt.
Come, my love, come bravely to me. Let your heart be still, for our time has come, my tender one, to be free of will. Blind on skipping stones across the great unknown, safe at water's edge. Don't look down, we're gonna leave this and run around and leap out from the ledge and fly, blind on fearless love. Let them wild winds blow and shine on all we'll feel for love, and then we'll let it go. Blind on fearless love, let them wild winds blow and shine on all we'll feel for love, and then we'll let it go. Let it go.
All right.
Thank you for that fearless love. And a reminder, for those of you who are staying for the seminar, there are sandwiches. I think it's a love offering of $5, so you don't have to rush out and get lunch. You can do it right here. And so we give thanks for the support that we receive for S Spiritual Life Center, because we know that that keeps this consciousness growing and growing and expanding out into the community, out into the world, out into the universe. And we are so very grateful for that support. And we also bless the prayers in the prayer box, knowing that before the question is even asked, the answer is here. And by asking, we open up to those answers. And as they are sent to Silent Unity to be prayed for another 30 days, we see that the highest and best solutions and the highest and best answers are revealed in ways that may surprise people. And we say, thank you, God. Amen. And now our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. And now, our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator.
I wish you a wonderful, wonderful day, and may the joys of the world go with you.